Good morning to you, Lizwe Nation. So today we welcome you on our Facebook Live, and then we are on Facebook and then we are on YouTube again. So we welcome you today. Thank you very much for being with us here at Tea with Lizwe. So we really appreciate it, and it's a very good morning, but a very cold morning as well here in the Free State. And then first we like to say we had a little bit of a problem yesterday with our lunch with Lisa, but not a big problem because there's a job that we are doing on site in one of our properties, and then we have a problem in this regard in line with the communication or the network that site. So and it's unfortunate that we'll be spending the whole week on that site because we are preparing the site for some of the essential things that we are doing, which is in your livestock production as well. So thank you very much. We are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook Live. Please comment down there, like our Facebook Live, like our YouTube channel. Really appreciate you. And then please, as we said, when we go forward, we would like to hear from you. What are the other subjects that you want us to discuss on our Facebook Live or Tea with Lizwe? We will really appreciate your comments or your input in this regard, because remember, as I've always reiterated, this is not about us. It's about you getting the value out of the discussion that we are having. We are now on day 61 of the lockdown. So you can just see with my beard starting to grow as well. So it simply means that self-caring is no longer there because we still need to operate in line with the government regulation in terms of self-quarantine or isolation or lockdown, where we do not have to visit your private salons and all of those. So let us adhere to the government call in that regard, and then adhere to what is allowed and what is prohibited in this regard. When we are going on the 1st of June, where alert lockdown level 3 will kick in. So let us abide by those regulations. Let us remember the government's calls to all of us. We must stay at home unless if you're an essential worker. We must make sure that we stay at home alone together, and then let us make sure that when we cough into our elbow or a tissue. Let us avoid crowded areas. Let us make sure by all means that when we have a cough or a sore throat, we seek medical help, but we call before we can even go and visit those people, because there are certain payments that you will require in order for you to do some certain things in that regard as well. So I'm tossing between Facebook Live and then YouTube to see whether our streaming is still occurring fine, because we saw some little delay yesterday in some of our episodes. Hence, we have opted to use the other platform, which was that one of a cellular phone or a mobile phone, in order for us to be able to access you, and then we get information out to you. Because even if we don't prep for this, that we get the fruitful information that you will require out of this. So thank you very much for being here and then listening to our Facebook Live and our YouTube channel as well. So as we said, we run programs like your Tea with Lizwe on Facebook Live. We run another program, Lunch with Lizwe, which I've explained what is behind us not coming on because of the job that we are doing, which runs from 12 to 2. And then we'll be running a cocktails, but we'll describe the date later, because we've done some tremendous change in that, which will run on a bi-weekly basis. We're having a dinner as well with Lijo, which will run once, I think, per week. And then we have another one, which is your nighttime with Lizo, which will run, I think, on a Friday and a Saturday every week. So we are trying to accommodate those people that are at home at the moment in this regard. So our major target is to make sure that we get, with this program, we get the people that are preparing to go to work. As we know, some odd 8 to 12 million people will be going back to work now. So we need to get this message to them so that we can empower them personally and professionally so that they can develop in terms of what we are discussing in this regard. But we do this on a daily basis, and on Wednesday, every Wednesday, we tackle our story. What is our story behind this? Why are we doing this? How did we get where we are in regard to this? So if I'm very fast, you must also comment there. I'm very fast. You cannot hear me properly. So anything, you've got the platform to do that. You've just got the button that you need to press in that regard as well. So, and then on our lunch, we are targeting young professionals that are at work, people that want to have personal development as well, people that will seek mentoring, that will seek coaching in whatever adventure they are involved in. So we'll really appreciate if those people can also attend those sessions. One of the sessions that we are having, the cocktails, we are having this with the senior executive, the senior managers, where we are looking at what is the difficulty that they are facing on site when they are dealing with employees that are coming, the millennials that are coming at the work environment. What is it that they see as a difficulty in terms of dealing with this class of employees? So those are the things that we look at. And then your dinner with Lizwe is to look at the family model, the family tree. How are parents encouraging their kids? Are they encouraging their kids to become white collar or to go for the education or to go for the business? So those are the things that we are doing. Because as my friend said, Gary V, if you are a parent and you want your child or you're forcing your child to go to university, it is just a 4-year holiday for the kid, because what happens after that will determine what is the character of that child, because that child might decide, no, I don't want to become a medical doctor, I don't want to become an engineer, I want to become a business person. So I've wasted 4 years, or I've gained a little education in terms of how can I strategize when I do communication with other employees by going to university. But that does not help. I'm currently not using what I went to study at university in order for it to help me in my work environment currently. So those are the things. And then I would like people to look at the story of failure and then not look that far. Let's look at what has happened to our so-called DJ Spoo. Let's learn something from, because every person that we come across, there's a lesson that we have to learn from that person. There's something that we need to take. I remember, because this takes us to our topic of today, our topic that says, where have you been? Which people have encouraged you in life to where you are today? Where have you been? Which people have encouraged you? So I have a few of them that have encouraged me in my case, because when you're growing from a farm, we're encouraged by the teacher that comes in there dressed very nicely, and then he educates, and then he puts his story across so nicely. Then you are attracted to them, their character, how they behave, how the community as well. Because when you're growing in a farm area or a rural area, the teacher seems to be the center of attraction for everyone. So you'll find that when they visit your homestead, your parents will slaughter a chicken for them. Some parents will go to the extreme where they slaughter a pig for them. They go all out for those teachers, because teachers were respected in our early days of education. Still today, they are still respected. I don't know, maybe you might disagree with me in this regard, but I knew when I was growing, those people, the teachers were they were highly regarded. Even today, I still highly regard some of my teachers that I've went through their hands. So they were regarded as that. And then when I grew up, when I went into the primary school, in my secondary school, I remember there was a Mr. Solo who used to, before we can get our awards, he used to stand in front and give us a motivation to say, hey, black man, you must run. If you can't run, you must walk. If you can't walk, You must get into that wheelchair and keep on moving. But I didn't understand what it meant, but it was encouraging for me because, you know, you must not be stuck. You must, when you see a barrier, don't use that barrier to say, no, I'm not doing this because of I don't have money. I'm not doing this because my parents, or I come from a family of poor parents. My mother works as a domestic worker. My father works in the garden. You never use those as your barrier in order for you to progress. You must progress no matter what. If your father is sick, is in Pilonomi Hospital, is diagnosed with tumor cancer in the head, that must not deter you. That spirit must still be in you to say, one day I want to see my family progressing. One day I want to hold my family at a better position. I want to be the breakthrough of my family. So that keep on moving that Mr. Tsulu was regarding to. I only learned about it when I went into university that no, this guy was just using a slogan for Johnny Walker. So so you can understand, but it drove me from grade 9 until the university level where I kept on moving. No matter which door was closed, I kept on moving. And still today, I do that. I always tell my employees that your life cycle of making sure that you do not sell to someone is when you call and you hear that I'm looking for Mr. Jones, and then they tell you no, Mr. Jones has passed on. So that is when I will stop selling. But then I will not stop selling because Mr. Jones was serving a certain position. I will say who is now the role player in Mr. Jones' position. You keep on moving. You do not become deterred by what people are saying. You keep on moving till you reach your goal. So that is what kept me going as well. I remember when I shifted a secondary school to another secondary school, there was this teacher that used to pull, he regarded bright student and he will not pull the bright student down, but he always gave the punch to the students that were not doing very well or the learners that were not doing very well. When he approached a learner and he said, there's a problem in mathematics that we need to solve. Let's hear you. Stand up, come in front, and then do the calculation. And the learner will be very disappointed that they will never stood up to go to the board and do the assignment. And then Mr. Mbele will say, you look like a cock that was poured with water. So a chicken that was poured with water. So the person will be very disappointed. So, but you never want to stand in front of the class and you go to the board and do a sum, or you do a multiplication or a fraction that you will not have a good answer on. But that kept us moving because we wanted to be perfect. We wanted, when you stood in front of the class, remember, you get this encouragement when you solve X, when you solve your Y, and then one day you get a challenge and you say, but Mr. Mbele, this is a challenge that I've been having. We've worked on it through the whole weekend. We've worked on it during the week, but now it's first day. And then it's giving us sleepless night because we cannot go home for the second weekend and we do not have a summation or we do not have a solution to this problem. So can you help us? Then Mr. Mbele will come very, very confident, said, no, this is an easy task. Let's do it. Then you will do it. You will do it. A period of mathematics, that time is 60 minutes. So we'll do it 1 hour. We will do the sum. The 1 hour will pass. The next class that is supposed to come in will boycott as a class. We said, no, we are not going out until you solve that problem. Then it will cause havoc at the school. They will go and call the head of department for mathematics. The head of department for mathematics, Mr. must do it. They will stood in the board, 30 minutes will pass. We looked at them and then for some, and then they will call other head of departments in the subject matter mathematics. They will come there and then the whole school will come out at around 3 o'clock, we'll say there. Unfortunately, Mr. Bele, Mr. Makhalanyan, we've called everyone at the school, even the principal will attend, and then we'll say, no, there's 3 ways of killing this cat. So can we please, we want to apologize, can we please come up and solve this for you? Because we've struggled for 2 weeks, so we've managed to get away. Then when we stand up, me and my friend, will come, and then we'll go and then do the summation. We'll do it in 3 steps that they've taught us. So the people, those people encouraged us to think out of the box. So who is that person that is encouraging you to come out of the box? Who is not hindering with your progress? Who is giving you that motivation? Who is that person that is giving you that platform to maneuver and do whatever you want to do? Are you leveraging that person? Are you leveraging that resource that we are having? Are you leveraging that information that we are getting here on in the future? So those are the things that we need to look at in life to say, are we using them to empower ourselves, or are we using them to hinder others' progress? So those are the things that I want to talk. So I just talked about Mr. Solo, the Johnny Walker person. I talked about Mr. Mbele. You've been poured with cold water, chicken poured with cold water. Talked about the head of department for the whole mathematics, Mr. Makhalanyan. So those are the people that encourage. And then you will hear, when I finish my matric, Mr. Makhalanyan will tell the class that came after me to say, you see, that boy is now at the university. He's going to make us proud at the university. You must be like that guy. You solve them. Then he came on board and they solved the problem with us. They took us together as well in that case. So, and then we look at the other person that I really appreciate coming from their hands is Mrs. Mathabo Kunene, the former wife of Kenny Kunene. So those are the person that encouraged us, because for me, vernacular that I was doing, I didn't do a vernacular that is a home language. I did a vernacular that is close to home language, which is Sesotho. So that she was the subject matter expert in terms of Sesotho, and I managed to get a good grade. But it's because of what? The encouragement, sitting down around, discussing in the language that is Southern Sotho, in line with that, and then they've empowered me as well in that regard. And then remember the previous year, when the people were finalizing their matric, in their farewell, they were going to have Mr. Chomani, who was the radio presenter in the CDFM, coming to become their motivational speaker to say, this is what you need to do. And then in our program, when we were finalizing, the person that was coming to give us the motivational speech was Dosto Noche from Selima Tunze Tukutuku. So it was very full to that matric prom or matric farewell to listen to what Dosto has for us in store. So you were encouraged by those. So you're encouraged by the function that the school will go an extreme mile to invite these known characters to come in. Remember, in those days, Selima Tunze was encouraging, especially on the education stream, they will have guest speakers that will talk about how you get a bursary. They will talk about guest speakers that will have been through university. So you will becoming encouraged day in and day out. So where have you been? Who encouraged you? So in our days when we finalized matric, we encouraged by the likes of Dosto Noche, the likes of Chomani during those times. So it is imperative that whatever platform is created for you, utilize it to make the best out of the situation. So that is what we need. Let us make the best out of the situation. If someone has given you an arm or a finger, you must seek for the whole hand. If they've given you a hand, you must seek full arm. That is what you must do. So let us do that. We can only do that by learning from what is encouraging us, what is keeping us moving. So, and then when I went to university, I started having now coordination with the head of department, because for me, what I will literally need or seek is to say, in my discipline, who is the responsible person So I found that there was Professor Lobsha there. And then work environment, as I've discussed the previous Facebook Live, I was encouraged by the general manager. And then when he later ended up as the CEO of the organization, Mr. MZ Msiwa. So those are the people that encourage. The university, it was Professor Lobsha, but not only Professor Lobsha, because we are interacting with a lot of people, we are interacting with a lot of students. Other students have been there. Other students are young, they are coming, they are encouraging you because they will make sure that they scrutinize you, and then they will use whatever you are applied in, they will use it. We had a guy called Andres Tapala. He was very good in applied maths, but only for himself. So we used him as well in that regard because we have to leverage everything. So the design, we had a professor there in design. I think he's now a professor at University of Pretoria. It was Dr. Van Rensburg that time. So those are the things that you consider in that regard. And then I remember when I was progressing very well, I had Dr. Swart, who is now a professor at University of the Northwest University. He's responsible for the engineering department there as well. He's the guy that designed Letabo power station for Eskom. So those are the things that encourage. You look at that, you look at the model that these people are serving in the industry, you learn a lot about them, and then they encourage you. You want to see yourself doing better than them, or being in par with them, or in the same position with them as well. So those are the things that will encourage you, and it will take you through the whole journey of being the best in your professional, the best in your profession, the best in whatever business that you are choosing. Because remember, we didn't literally had to go and ask for a mentor during those days. Like we are saying now, we can give you a mentoring and a coaching a plan in line with what you want to achieve. But in those days, it was not there. You will just go and listen to someone and then take what is important, what is good for me. This is good for me. Okay, I'm going to use it, and then apply it, and then see how it progresses. And then I'll come in tomorrow again and seek for another advice. So you must always have that open view, open channels, so that you can receive information, and you can transmit information as well. Because that is what we want. If we don't do that, we are not living in a healthy world. So with that being said, the other thing that is playing a tremendous role, because remember, you have to be balanced. You can be balanced in terms of career, you can be balanced in terms of social, but you have to be balanced as well in terms of spiritual, which a lot of people are not discussing it, but let me discuss it. Spiritually, you have to be balanced as well. You need to know the God you are serving, the living God that you are serving as well. So you have to believe in the strength of prayer. That is what I believe in. I believe in the strength of prayer. And then when you believe in the strength of prayer, like the expert will tell you, you have to do the meditation. With meditation, you are attracting the power of money. The only way of you attracting the power of money is to discard all the things that you've been taught at a young age. Remember when we were growing up, our parents would tell us, no, money is a sin. Money is a sin. It's not something that is godly. It's something that is evil. No, money is good. Money is what we want. We must make sure that on a daily basis, when we talk, we attract the strength of money. We appreciate what money can do, in terms of transforming our lives. That is what we need to do, because we need to have that spirit of attraction. That is why there are people that will do meditation for good health. The meditation will be for money. The meditation will be for social cohesion with other people. So you have to attract positive people. Remember what I said. You are an average of the 5 people you are spending your time with. So if you are spending your time with people that do not meditate money coming in, you'll always be a naysayer. You'll always be complaining. So let us stop complaining. So in terms of church helps you as well to do what? To streamline What is it that you want? Because first you need to do what? You need to ask. You ask, and then the second thing that you need to do is you need to believe in what you have asked. And then the third thing that will happen is you must receive. You ask, you believe, and you receive. You cannot do one without the other. You cannot ask and you don't believe, and then you will not receive, definitely. You cannot say I've asked. You cannot say I don't believe in asking. I want to receive, and then from that, or I want to believe, and then from that I must receive. No, they must all do the 33 commanding percent. You ask, you believe, and you receive. So spirituality is the one that will determine that. So how spiritual are you? So in this fraternity, I like to be appreciative of the friends that I've been through. When I was in difficult time, my friends will encourage me, especially now my father will encourage me. Benjamin, we need to go to church now. Let us go and invite God to come and intervene in this situation. So I used to attend with him. And then I have a traditional church where when I went to university, I was still attending my traditional church. And then from that, I got baptized in another church from 2000 until today, which I often attend. And if you can see the tremendous amount of growth that I've had in this church, it's very amazing because of the same principle that I'm telling you about. You must ask, believe, and you will receive. So that is what has been in there. And then I've managed to grow from someone that was there in the congregation to someone that is upholding a bigger position now in the region where I am or in the district where I am. And the people that I meet, because in our church we've got a chamber of business and commerce. So the people that I meet, the people that ask for advices from us, it's very tremendous. And then what we are doing is we are having functions that we will have on a monthly basis where we celebrate in another branch in one of our region, and then where everyone meet up on that Wednesday, and then we have a session from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock where we believe that people must come in and then they must give us what is their problems that they're facing on a weekly basis, or what are the problems that they're facing on a weekly basis in their different branches. And then from that is taken upward, and then we encourage, and then we meditate, and then we invite the Spirit to come in and help in our businesses. This is only happening in our church, where we've got a chamber of business and commerce that meets on a weekly basis, Wednesday, from 10 to 1, and then we have a big convention. It starts every on a bi-monthly basis, so which means it's 2 times. It starts on 6 times. It's happening 6 times a year, where we invite everyone, and then after 8 weeks we have another one that we celebrate in our head office, where all the businesses about 2 million go forward. In terms of businesses, in terms of the motivation to the businesses. Like I said, we always have to have a mentor and a coach in whatever adventure you have taken. If you do not do that, then you are doomed for failure. So we don't want people to fail. We want people to progress. So being it in our social, being it in our businesses, being it as well spiritually, that is what we want. So if people progress, it means if you listen to my advice and then you progress after listening to my advice, it means I've given you value, and then with that value, we are going to give that value to another person. You'll say, no, Benjamin or Lisa is the person that has helped me during this time. This is what I've listened to, and then I've done what? I've changed my mindset to be that one of taking action, because it is very important that we take action. We can be going around and saying a whole lot of things. We can go through the dictionary. We can write 320 pages of thesis in terms of our research, your R&D research, your research and distribution study. You can be doing that, or your research, you can be doing that. But if you do not implement that research, does not help. It will not help anyone. It will be put in file 13. You know what What is file number 13? So you don't want that. So that is where we have been, and we are still progressing. There will be naysayers in your road. There will be people that say, no, he thinks he's clever. But what do you do with naysayers? You have to have a flow chart for naysayers. What do you do? If it does not help me, I'm discarding it. Where does it go? It must go to file 13. Is what they are doing helpful to me? No, it's not helpful. So what do I do? You have to put it on file or you ignore it, because it is very imperative that you associate with people that will celebrate your success. Do not acknowledge people who will not celebrate your success. Do not acknowledge people who will want to see your tremendous failure tomorrow, because that is not good. So the people that I've mentioned, from your Mr. Tsulu, your Mr. Mahalanyani, Mr. Mbele, even I think yesterday the General Secretary of SADU in our province, he used to teach me mathematics, Mr. Briggs Molloy. So he used to teach me mathematics in my secondary school when I was doing grade 9 and grade 8 and grade 9. So he taught me mathematics together with Mr. Mutomiya. So he's now the General Secretary of SADU in the Free State. So those are the people that I come. There's Mr. Mkoto as well. So there's a lot of people that are serving in regions or high structures that have been through their hands. So imagine being under this guy for 2 years, where in every mathematics class I was getting 100%. So those are the things that encourage you to go forward. It inspires you on a daily basis. So we need things like this. You do not want someone that will say, no, I want to see his downfall, or someone that say, I want to see him down. We don't want that. We want someone that breathes success. Someone that when he sees you doing something, you say, can I join hands? What you are doing is very encouraging. What you are doing, you're not doing it for fame. You're just doing it so that you can give value to people free of charge. No cent must be paid in order for me to give value. I'm giving it free of charge. So who has taught me that? I got that DNA from whatever, from my primary school to my secondary school. I've been given the free DNA value by these great leaders I've just mentioned. Your Mr. Solo, your Mr. Molloy, your Mr. Mhlomiyan, your Mr. Mbele, Mr. Mahalanyani. And the principal that were holding those schools, your Professor Lobsha as well, your Mr. MZ Musiwa as well. So those are the big guys that were making things happen. So they made things happen. So I used them as leverage. Like I said, in the olden days, you will never say, I want a mentor. The only thing of mentoring and coaching that we've had is when we finished university and we went to the work environment. That is when we started hearing about mentorship, your coaching for business, your coaching for whatever you want to do in order for you to advance in your life. So you can see today what you do in my work environment as well. Currently, I get encouraged by the likes of Sakile Velase. I get encouraged by the likes of Julius Mkize, who are my learned friend, the guys that when I hit a break, I pick up my phone and I call them. Tetingani Skosana out there. So those are the people that so those people are the ones that are playing tremendous role, because you really need during this time to pick up a phone and call someone so that someone can align, because we are misaligned like vehicles become misaligned. So you need to be aligned. So who will make sure that you are aligned? Those people that we are sharing the same or the common goal with are the people that will make sure that you are aligned. You don't lose focus. You are always doing what you keep on moving. You're doing the Johnny Walker. Keep on moving, no matter what. I've said yesterday, in order for us to be able to go forward, we need to make sure that we need to know that we will not be sailing a boat. We are in a storm currently, but everyone can determine the direction of their own boat. So whatever happened, whatever your circumstances, make sure that when you write the history book, you have written in terms of your direction, where you are going, where you want to see yourself. Are you overwhelmed with what you are doing? Are you enjoying what you are doing, or you are just doing it for the monetary? It is important that we do, like I said, we invite money into our dealings. We invite money because we need to open the channels of money. The only way of opening the channels of money is to set in the mindset to do it, to do the meditation. Let us do the meditation. Let us learn how to do meditation. Yes, other people, they don't want to do because they don't know how to do meditation. Meditation is a simple principle. There's a person that asked an open question last week to say, what is your daily routine? Daily routine, if you want to encourage money to come in, you have to always perform meditation. Meditation can be in a form of prayer. Your meditation can be in a form of you sitting down, listening to the meditations that are out there in order for you, or your meditation audio books that are out there that you can listen to while you are doing your training, while you are exercising. So those are the things that we need to look at and say, are we getting there? You know, for the past 6 years, I've not used a mentor in my business. You will not believe me. I have not used a mentor in my business. I've used a business organization from Australia. They've got everything that is sufficient for me to run a business. They've got their templates are there. So I have templates from them that they are amending on a 3-monthly basis. So that is what I use. I'm leveraging it. And then from that, they have mentors. So I tend to pick a mentor from what they have. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm using a women business mentors from the USA. Because remember, in all the countries, when you look at the historically disadvantaged individuals, the people that will get the authorization is when we have a business that is having females, young females, and then you need to have people living with disability. So when I use strategies that are women-based, like the ladies that I use from the US, I tend to have a suffocating factor in terms of saying, this is what will be applicable in South Africa in 2 years' time. So how do we align ourselves as a business to work together with this? But what those ladies are doing, they are encouraging businesses, especially women-driven businesses. So if you want more information on this one, we can share with you. They've got a lot of templates that they are having. They've got free sessions that they are doing on a weekly basis. We are one of the we have done one of the affiliate program as well, where by selling some of their product, you can gain something as well. That is passive income as well, as you know, when you can regard it in that way as well. So I'm saying, let us never pay for a mentor. He will never pay for a mentor because the strongest thing that make is Google. The second thing that will make you is YouTube. So it depends what you do. I've literally made this example. That's a javelin championship from Africa. Powered energy. Then it tells you, I watched the javelin throwing on YouTube. So what is it that we are waiting for? And they're advancing. People are using a search engine like Google to make sure that they're advancing. So what is it that you are waiting for? Or do you want to have someone that will literally come in and spoon feed you and say, this is how you do it. This is what you do. In order for X to be, your left-hand side to be equal to the right-hand side, this is what you must do. No. You have to know, this is what you must do. No. You have to know how to solve your own X. You can only do that by making sure that you are taking this and then you are applying it. You are implementing it. So let us use the resources that are exposable for us to use, at our exposed for us to use them, so that we can flourish, so that we can tell the next generation. Because you can already see that with COVID-19, the next generation, the generation of the millennials, they are not going to listen to what we are saying because they will want to act, they will want to implement. For us, the way we are acting very slow for them. So they will want to action and then implement whatever they want. Remember, I said, you see, with during this lockdown, I've realized two things. I've realized that if you have children, you must give them freedom to do whatever they want to do. If your child wants to become a gamer, this 61 days has already proven that to you, that my child wants to become a gamer. If your child wants to become a farmer, this 61 days has already given that to you, that your child wants to become a farmer. If your child wants to sit home, eat all day, that has shown you. It has shown you by the amount of trips that you are doing to the grocery store to buy food, because it's consumed at a higher rate. Everyone is eating every time. Hence, parents are saying, no. Some parents are saying, no, our child must go back to school now because we are making trips now more than 6 times in a month. So we cannot afford it now because normally we will go and do the trip once, and then twice. The second trip will just be to add till the end of the month. So what is it that this lockdown has made you realize about your livelihood of your household, the whole household? So for me, what I've realized is I might have a potential farmer in terms of a son, I might have a potential gamer in terms of a child. So what is it that I need to provide? I need to provide my kids with the right resources so that they can develop their interest in terms of what I've seen them need to provide. I need to provide my kids with the right resources so that they can develop their interest in terms of what I've seen them doing for these past 61 days. So what is it? It's your call now to realize and then put your mindset onto it and act. So for me, I need to act that the platform is afforded for my kids so that they can do what is of interest to them. And if you hear my child that wants to become a gamer, if I hear him saying this, he's passionate about becoming a gamer. He has told me about this before, but now he's more passionate and he's got driven behind by the monetary aspect in terms of how much can he make out of this. And then he has put in his plan in order, because you need to get approval. And how do you get approval? You need to put in your thorough plan so that it can go through the screening, and then we do the nitty-gritty there in line with whatever is the objective of his project. But I came up to him and said, during these days, my son, what can you do? Can you develop something? Can you develop a game? Look at aspects of this. This is a lucrative. And when I hear a gamer in Cape Town, there's a gamer here in South Africa, in Cape Town. He's working from home, but these games are making him millions. So not a lot of people want to do it because they don't know how to start with this. So let us give and then have a platform so that we can have open-ended discussion with our kids. They can put in their ideas and then implement it. So is that what you would want? If you can get this, that will be very nice, because you are affording your child the resources. As a parent, you are leading by example. Remember, gone are the days where a lot of where we want to adopt a strategy from other countries. You know, when you are from India, Gary Vee makes an example of this. Indian parents, they want their kids, when their kids finish school, they want their kids to go and study medicine or to go and study engineering. And then they would have made it. Indian parents, they don't want kids that will say, no, I want to go into business. They don't, because that means in the community where they are living, there's a pressure that comes in to say, no, that son is a failure, that daughter is a failure, they have not went to university and all of. Let us give the children the opportunity to exploit whatever they seems ready to go and flourish in. So that is what we need to do, platform. Give them the platform so that they can enjoy what they are doing. A lot of people, others, that we know that they are making it very big in industry in terms of business, they are dropouts. So what do you do with a dropout? A dropout can do a tremendous amount of things because they have learned how to live. They have learned how to make a living, whereas they do not have the paper or the qualification. So let us not be stereotyped and determine the future of our kids. A child will go. I've literally heard an interview of a child saying, "No, my parents wanted me to become go now and tell them that I'm not going to finish my MPCHP. They will fire me at home or they will throw me out, throw you out." And once they throw you out after 3 years, when they come to their senses, they will realize that you have made a good decision because the adventure that you will have went through will have made it, will have made you a person, will have made you a leader that you wanted to be. So let us, by all means, try not to please anyone with our future endeavors. So yes, with us, the older guys, we were told, but for me, my parents never knew about university, so I will not say I was told. So, but we're encouraged by people that we see, and then we say, okay, if I choose this discipline, how will it go? Because I never knew mechanical engineering. No one at home, no member of my family, imagine. So I've never had someone that is a trendsetter at home to say this is what I've done. So I only realized mechanical when I went into the first class to say, okay, is this us? How many white students? There were 60 white students. How many black students? There was about 17 black students in our class. And then, when the semester goes, you start to see that, okay, we have now 45 white students, and then we have about 7 black students. So the dynamics start to change now. And when we go to your second year, you start to see the number now 30 whites, and then you start to see okay, still 7 blacks or 5 blacks, and then you go to your third year, you start to see okay, still 30 whites, and then you've got 3 black here. You have 30 still 30 whites, and then you have about 2 that finalize the final year in terms of the engineering during our time. That is what we saw. And the professor will come literally in front of the class and say, I see, when you start in your first year, they will say, I see 20% of this class making it final year. You can just imagine. That is how scary it was. But we never took the scary thing. We never said, no, this is a scary discipline. We're going to do it no matter what. I'm going to knock into that guy that is saying only 20% will make it. I'm going to knock into his door and say, I'm here. I want to know, how did you determine that number? Am I that statistic? Am I that person that is forming that statistic of the 20% that will be left, or am I out? And then how do you make me to be in? Because I need to be in that 20%. So how did you make that determination? We had big professors, or Professor Harov. We had a Professor Harov that was teaching us strength of material or fluid dynamics. His child, Rudy Harov, failed that course. So you can just imagine he was not driven by favors. He was driven by passion of what he loves, and if his children were not complying, he will make them fail. He was not choosing. So you need leaders of that integrity to take it forward. And then if you look at Professor Harov, he's the one that designed the GATS Dam. He was part of the guys that designed GATS Dam in terms of fluid dynamics. The very difficult course at university, your fluid dynamics. That is the very big course at the university level. A lot of people will tell you, I'm only going back to do that course. I've done it in the second year. I've repeated it in the third year. I've repeated it in the fourth year. I'm only going back for it. So that is literally what was fluid dynamics. That is what I specialize in now. When I go and teach people about water and wastewater treatment works, that is what I teach people about, your fluid dynamics. How do you make sure that when you have a certain community, this certain community has got so many population, how do you design a pump that is going to deliver to that reservoir that was designed for that particular area, for that particular population? And how long will that water last in that reservoir? How often must you pump? At what times must you pump? So all those hydraulics are coming from that course. So I'm very thankful to Professor Haroff for giving me and having taught me that course, because you need to know your Bernoulli's equation, where Bernoulli's equation is a momentum before it will be equals to momentum after, and you need to do your balancing. You need to look at your frictional head losses. So that course from Professor Haroff, if I didn't take it serious, I will not be a speaker that I said I am today, because when I go to Malaysia, when I go to Indonesia, when I go to Qatar, when I go to Singapore, those are the courses that I teach about water and wastewater treatment works. How do you design them? Pump station design. How do you design them? What is it that is in a pipeline? In order for this water that you see, when you open a tap now, when you're taking a shower now this morning, at Tiwi Fleas, that water that comes into, it has come because of the design of fluid dynamics, the basic principle of fluid dynamics. What are the losses? How many bands do you have? That is the basis of rainwater. That is the basis of Umgeni water. That is the basis of Sitibeng water. That is the basis of Lepelle water, Amatola water. So you can mention all the waterworks. Even some municipalities, they use the same principle. So I'm very thankful. That is where I come from. I come from plants where I will literally learn. In my first year, I'll be given a group of first-year students to take them through the plant of water and wastewater treatment works, to tell them how does it operate. That has helped me. I was given a tremendous role, but today that is what my foundation relies on. It relies on that. It relies on what people have said before to encourage me to become a leader that I am today. So it's up to you what kind of leader you want to become. It's up to you whether where you come from set your priorities or has encouraged you to be where you are. Every one of us has got a story that we need to write. And which pen are you using to write that story? Are you using a pen of blaming people? Are you using a pen of leveraging the people that you are meeting? Or are you using a pen of saying, I will be speaking, I'll be writing articles, offering my value to people so that they can learn from me? So I'm saying today to you, let us relook and refocus, because this is what we had. This is what we had. The 61 days that we had was to do the self-introspection. So have you done the self-introspection? How is it coming? Are you going to change from now? What are the changes that you are going to bring? Are you going to take action? How soon are you going to take that action? Are you going to take that action anxiously, or are you going to just take it so that you can show people that you can do it as well? No, do it for the right purpose. What is your purpose?
It's 5 hours.
So please remember your purpose. And then if you can remember this, whoever came and played a tremendous role, and then they see that you have flourished, you have become where you are today, and then we are grateful for them. I always believe in a gratitude, in the power of gratitude. The power of gratitude is to thank everyone, even not in their presence, even when they are already, they are not here in the world anymore, they've passed on. You still have to have the power of gratitude. The power of gratitude to Mr. Jeff Jafta and Mr. Lula Milendizana, who were the guys that interviewed me. I'm still honorable. And Mr. Lula Milendizana, although he's already is no longer there. So, but we still appreciate it. May his soul rest in peace. So, thank you very much for attending this session, and we hope it was fruitful. And please remember, for lunch, we will try, but we still have the technical dish in terms of the site that we are operating in for this week, because we are setting a site in those parameters. There's a certain parameters we are setting site, and if you don't see us during lunch, please bear with us. And then we thank you very much for attending. Tea with Lizwe. Let us please keep on with what the president has requested from us. Let us abide by the rules of the government, the rules of the national disaster team, the rules of the national coronavirus command council as well in this regard. With that being said, we'd like to appreciate you attending our live stream on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Twitter account, both at Lizwe and at Lizwe Media Group as well. You'll find us there on Instagram. We are there on TikTok. Please let us encourage people to give value, because once we give value, we'll see the tremendous role that we will play in the whole industry. With that being said, we'd like to thank you very much and God bless.